I'm Claire Newton. I'm a psychologist, speaker, trainer, and coach. So for most of us, this past week of violence and looting and rioting has been an experience that none of us have ever lived through or even imagined we were going to have to live through. And it's left many of us feeling extremely traumatized. But even still, there are ways that we can still use this experience to develop our resilience. And I'd like to just give a few tips and ideas of some of the things that you can do to become more resilient. And the first is to try and find some positive meaning out of these difficult and traumatic events. Actively think about what positive can I take out of this? What positive meaning can I bring to these experiences? In what ways is the future going to be just a little bit better than it was before because of the violence and the looting? Being realistically optimistic about your situation can give you hope. And so try and look beyond the present into the future and think about the ways in which the future is going to be better. Maybe it's something as small as you know your neighbors better because you were reaching out to them, the communities were coming together to defend your neighborhoods. Maybe it's something in your mind as big as the politics of the whole country. Whatever it is that is meaningful for you, look for that positive impact beyond what is actually happening right now. Use this traumatic event to find out more about yourself. So many people in these adverse, terrible circumstances will describe to me and they'll say things like, Claire, I'm so much stronger than I ever thought I would be. I never thought that I could cope with this. I never thought that I would be able to deal with this. And so use this opportunity to think about the ways in which you have actually become a better person, that perhaps your comfort zone has been in some way challenged and you rose to that challenge. You've survived. You have got through this. Think about those qualities that have brought you to this place now. And look for those qualities and characteristics in you that can give you that sense of, oh wow, I never knew I had it in me. And that's one of the characteristics of resilience, is that ability to use this opportunity for self-discovery. Another characteristic of resilience is to see yourself in control. For many of us, I mentioned, the reaction of trauma is helplessness. But if you can see yourself in control and regain a sense of control, that is going to help you to be more resilient. On my website, I have the model called the circles of control. And that's just a tool that you can use to jot down those things that are completely within your control: what you eat, what routines you're going to establish, how you're going to interact with other people, how you're going to process this traumatic event for yourself. And those are the sorts of things that are within your own control. The things that you can only influence, other people, for example, their thinking and behavior. You can influence it, but you can't control it. And then the things that are beyond your control, that you have absolutely no control over whatsoever. And the tool just says, forget about those things that you can't control in any way, and put your energy and your time into those things that you can influence and the things that you can control. If you're struggling to see anything that you can control, go and use that tool, and you'll actually find it's a lot easier than you think to find ways of seeing yourself in control. Resilient people reach out to their networks. So make sure that one of the things that you are doing is reaching out to family members, to friends, to your network communities. Certainly my experience in my community has been that absolute outpouring of people reaching out, wanting to help. And I've noticed that every time somebody's appealed for something, it might be baby formula, a litre of milk, a loaf of bread. For every one appeal, there's probably been nearly a dozen people saying, I can help. This is what I can offer. There's been plenty of messages on the social media saying, this is what I've got. Would anybody like it? So people are desperately wanting to help. And by your reaching out and asking for that help, not only is it helping you, but it is helping others too. So concentrate on those networks, reach out, and maintain those connections. Maintain those connections between family and friends. Don't let this drop off, in a few months' time. Just keep them going. And that's one of the characteristics of the resilient person, is that they constantly just keep those networks going. If you didn't have networks before, now is the time to start those networks. Reach out and offer help. Reach out and ask for help. Obviously, if you're going to be resilient, mentally, you also need that physical foundation. So take care of your body. Look at what you're eating and make sure you're eating as healthily as you can. Make sure you're getting yourself well hydrated. Make sure that you are supporting yourself physically with getting the best sleep that you can, putting in those principles of good sleep hygiene. Make sure that you're doing some exercise, that you're getting some rest in terms of breaks away from work or activity and so on. And also make sure that in your life there's some real enjoyment, those creative things that you like to do, those pleasurable things that you like to do. Just try and bring those back as much as you can. Simple things, whatever that might be for you. If you're a birder, it'll just be trying to listen to the songs of the birds in the trees. If you're a crafter, it'll be bringing back those crafts. So it's those sorts of things, whatever they might be, to just bring into your life so that you are looking after your body physically and your mind mentally. Accept change. That is one of the characteristics of a resilient person, and certainly in South Africa, things have changed. We're still waiting to see how everything is going to play out politically and so on. But one of the things that you can do is just to think about the change. And on my website, I have a tool called the Wheel of Change. And it talks about the emotions that we go through to accept change, from being in denial to being resistant, where we can get stuck, or then choosing to go on and accept that change, which is going to lead us to be, more creative and to embrace and to therefore be more productive. So accept that change. Think about where you are emotionally in terms of change. Use that tool if it's going to help you. And then, of course, accept the circumstances that cannot be changed. There's going to be many situations for many of you that have been absolutely devastating. Your entire business has been gutted by fire, looted and stolen or destroyed in some way. You can't change that. What meaning are you going to bring to that? That is where the resilient individual is going to pay some attention to that, and trying to get whatever positive outlook they can from that. Again, and I'm repeating myself, reach out to those support groups to help you to manage that.